Hey guys, welcome back to our rod shop. Today we're going to build these medium heavy, moderate fast inshore salt rods, so stick around. Okay, we're going to build these quick. The medium heavy 7-foot SP 844 moderate fast tip live bait inshore rod. So here we go. First thing we want to do, as always, is we want to spline the rod. What we're looking for is basically the bottom of the rod as you hold it when you're fishing. So I'm going to put a little tape here way forward of where the reel seat is going to be, so we can mark on the tape where the spline is when we find it. Like I said, I'm going to do both of these at the same time. You're probably only going to see one. But so, got my pin ready to go. Got the tip down in the carpet where I can get a good bend in it, because these are moderately fast tips, so you got to put quite a bit of bend in it, and that snapped pretty good right there. There we go, right back there. So we're going to call that mark right here the bottom of the rod. I'm going to spline this other one while we're at it. There we go. All right, so we've got them both splined. Next thing we want to do is get our grips reamed. So we're going to start with the butt grip. The blue is on the blue, the black is going on the black. These are identical rods except for color. So let's get some reaming tools out. Now these are the polyurethane foam with the carbon fiber over the top of it. These are really easy to ream. You guys have seen me ream these before, but you have to be careful because you can over ream them. These are a fairly small diameter blank at the butt that looks to be half or maybe even a little less, which means we're going to need the medium reamer, which is this one. And this stuff is so easy to ream, you can ream it by hand pretty quickly. But I'm going to use power as usual. Alright, so you can take your reamer slowly, because this stuff, like I said, is very easy to ream, which means it's very easy to over ream. Let's just check and see where we're at. Yeah, we've got a little ways to go still. Not quite there, so we're going to change reamers. But while I have the medium size reamer chucked up in the drill, and we're doing both of these the same, we're going to go ahead and ream this one. Alright, we'll switch reamers. Go to the large. Check it one more time. And there we go. Perfect. So let's take the black butt the same distance. I'll check it on this one. There we go. Now for the rear grip, we'll go back to this medium. I'm going to start with the small. That has got a 1/8 diameter to start with. We'll go to the small reamer. The black one. And now we'll switch reamers. Over to the medium, which should almost to the end of the medium reamer should get us the right diameter, just guessing. About a couple inches short. That's still a little short of where we need to be, because I'm going to set these stems at 12 inches. That's what we're looking for. Put the real seat on. And that's exactly where we want it. Perfect. So we're going to ream up the black one. Perfect. Okay, now I'm going to flip a few things around, get some epoxy paste out here, clean up some of this mess, and we will go to putting these handles on, so don't go away. Alright, I got kind of switched around. I've been fidgeting around with layout here and balance. I think I'm going to move the stem just a hair forward to maybe about 12.5. I playing with a little bit of lead that I'm going to bury. The quarter was a little light. The half feels about right in my hand, and that's just me putting it in the butt of the blank and just feeling. It's all about feel. I like that. So we're going to start gluing this one up. We're going to set this rear of the rear grip at 7.5. I'm going to put some tape on that as like a witness tape, and that'll help us keep everything in the right place as we're building. So I've got it there. We'll fold a flag on it because we're going to have cleanup to do, and this just makes it easier to do the cleanup. So we will break it apart. Use just a little bit of an arbor, maybe one wrap. There we go. The rear got a little wobble on the back. Just a smidge. Alright, perfect. We'll go ahead and glue these up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue up the grips and let them sit for a bit. This is 10-minute paste we're going to use, and then I'll glue up the other grip, and then we'll come back and do the real seats. So don't go away. Okay. Okay, we got them. Both of the blanks are arbored up. Real seats are ready to go, but we're not going to glue them up quite yet. I'm going to mix up one batch to do the grips, and then we'll come back in a few minutes after this 10-minute UB40 paste sets, and we'll do the real seat. So I'm getting it's a 50-50 mix. Just trying to get the right proportions there. That looks pretty good. And I made a pencil mark so I know how far to put the paste up the blank. Rubber's tearing loose. Don't put your hand in it like that. And then we're going to go ahead and put the 1/2 ounce lead in and complete the butt section in this first glue up. That'll speed up the next step after glue will be the layout and the static load test, because I want to get these ready to wrap today. After doing that last build with the 100 pieces to build the grips for the G2 grips, I'm ready to get this one done quickly. So I made myself a little tape ball. All that does is it helps me keep the paste exactly where I want it as I'm loading, so it doesn't push down the blank further, and I want to make sure that this weight stays completely embedded in paste. Not long enough. That'll be a tape ball for this one. Okay. Now I've got everything set. It's time to mix and start gluing. So here we go. I'm gonna mix this up real quick. We're not gonna need that much. These grips are reamed real close. We're gonna need more when we set the real seat in, but for this little bit, that's plenty of paste. So we'll slide this back. We'll put the paste on pretty quickly. We've already got our tape ball in. We're just going to coat this heavy. We are going to wind up pushing most of this back off. But you want to saturate your tape arbor and get a complete coverage on the blank itself. And then I'm going to start filling in behind my tape ball. And weight in. Put that back flush. Make sure we got a full pocket of epoxy around it. Okay, let's slide it back. Take that excess off. And then we're just going to wet this tenon. A tiny little bit of epoxy on it. And then we'll put quite a bit more epoxy inside the rubberized cork butt cap. As you put more in here is fine, because it's just going to push to the back. If we get that tenon real heavily loaded with epoxy, it pushes it forward and then you just have more to clean up. So let's get this on here. Just a little bit of cleanup there. All right, let's move forward. And get epoxy loaded here. This is my pencil mark, so we're going to put epoxy from here back. Again, we're not going to have to put much on there. We just need to get the entire blank wet. Because most of this will push back off. We've got plenty on the arbor here. Oh, a little bit of a mess. Okay. Spin it up. Now I'm going to peel most of that excess off right now. And push it back to our mark. Clean all that extra off of the carbon fiber grip. And then we'll peel this piece of tape. And we'll do one quick wipe, and this one is done. We'll let it sit for 20 minutes or so. Get all this excess off the front. Not so important up here because we're going to just be gluing again up here, but just to keep it neat and clean. No dirt off of there. Okay, we'll put it in the corner and let it sit for a bit. And we'll jump right on the blue one. Alright, let's knock the rear out. Nope. Didn't make it. I'll mix up a quick batch. Oh. If you guys are using just normal paste epoxy where you got like 40 minutes, you can take your time, but I don't normally use it. I used a quick bond. And I usually mix up smaller batches, but I was trying to double up here, save a little bit of time. So I'll make a really small batch. I'm not going to need much at all with this. This edge clean. Pull my tape. Okay, we'll let these two sit for about 20 minutes. Give this paste plenty of time to set up. And then we will come back and install the real seats. Don't go away. Okay, we're back. I did a little more cleanup. What I've done is I cleaned just to make sure it didn't have any residue on these carbon fiber grips, because I'm not going to coat these in epoxy. They're going to stay natural. Cleaned up any residue, retaped them so they don't move. They're still, you can twist them. I wouldn't fish with them yet. They don't move on their own, but I'm going to have to push this reel seat up tight, and I don't want it to move. And one way to ensure is to mark where it needs to be. All right, so for building these reel seats, so first thing I'm going to do is mark the front of the reel seat just for doing the arbors. I'm going to build a front arbor. Still got a lot of slop in there. One thing about these reel seats, and I showed you this on another video, but these CCT seats have these fins in here, which gives you plenty of room for epoxy in these cavities beside the fins, and your arbor is just going to touch where the fins are. So you got the bottom piece and then these fins keep it centered, because this thing is raised to fit in the palm of your hand perfectly. I love the way they feel. So we're going to build this arbor up quite a bit. That's getting real close there. It's got just a little wobble. That's a little too snug. Take a little bit of that back out. Still a little too snug. Now that's perfect. It's going to slide up there just like it should. I'm going to build a couple of intermediate arbors, mostly to keep the paste packed back in and get up in the fins. If we have excess here, when we hit this arbor, none of this excess is going to want to come by, and it shoves up and into that void there around the fins. There we go. Okay. Now I'll build a smaller one back here in the back. There we go. All right, so now let's mix up some paste. I'm not going to do both of these at the same time, because there's a lot of paste and you really need to take your time in getting your stem set on your backbone here. This is exactly the way this rod's going to, the reel seat's going to sit in here, where the bottom of the rod, where your spinning reel is hanging off, is going to be perfectly on the spine. Popsicle sticks, a little room in here, everything I need. All right, let's mix up some paste. Okay, let's glue it up. And so I'm going to start out here in front of this reel seat. Make sure I have plenty out there. Got the arbor coated. Again, we got these big fins we've got to fill. And then as I work towards the back, I just want to get a good coat on everything, because we're going to be pushing a lot of this epoxy back. And I don't want to have to clean up too much on these uncoated carbon fiber grips. If we were going to coat them with epoxy, which I do most of mine, I wouldn't be as worried about it. But this is almost a fabric. I guess it is a fabric. I mean, getting glue residue out is very time consuming, so we're going to kind of cut down on some of what we push out. Okay. A little bit of sticky there. Make sure I keep the sticky off my fingers, because everywhere I touch I'm going to leave epoxy fingerprints, and that's not good. Fingers are clean-ish. Okay, so I'm going to grab the reel seat. I'm going to start spinning it up. Yeah, we got a little too much. So let's get that cleaned up before we get to the carbon fiber grip. Okay, we'll keep spinning. Stop there for a second and take most of this out. Now I'll get it stuck all over my table and my fingers. Perfect. Oh. Okay. Now that's up tight. And we need to turn. That rear grip is still turning a little bit. Alright. It's up tight now. Now it's time to clean, thoroughly clean these carbon fiber grips. Also want to clean up this front. And I've got the extra out there, which is what I wanted, because I want it packed in tight, completely full of paste, right up to the front of the reel seat. So when we go to do our epoxy ramp, it cuts down on a lot of bubbles and having it sucked in underneath the reel seat. You don't get an even epoxy ramp, and you have to do it twice. And yeah, just trying to save some time in the future. We'll get this cleaned up. Okay. Always using clean paper towels. You don't want to smear epoxy. Okay, we'll stand this one in the corner, let it sit. We'll check it one more time for on the spine, and it's perfect. Okay, well, the sticky part of these two builds is complete. We've got handles, full handle assembly with the CCT real seats ready to go. Next time, we'll go ahead and start with the guide layout and get these wrapped up. So thanks for watching, guys. I will see you next time. And we're out.